Hey, what's up, guys? This is Brian from Whisper Status 74, and I am doing a quick spoiler-free review of Brightburn. Now, I say spoiler-free as I won't be giving away anything that happens in the film, but there will be some plot talk, and my complaints or positive parts might allude a little bit more to the story. If you don't want to know anything about the story at all, and you want to go into this even without seeing the trailer, please click off. There will not be any spoilers, but there will be, again, a rough outline into what the film is. Hard to do that without giving away some of the story. Also, I've just gotten back to all of you in the comments. I didn't get to today's comments, but I did get back to everyone. If I missed you for any reason and did not respond, I just missed it. So please resubmit your question or your comment. I do value each and every one of your comments. I do get back to all of them. If I didn't, resubmit, please. I really, really appreciate it. I appreciate all the positive comments and all the support from this community family. Brightburn. I saw this the other day. Some of you guys saw pictures of it on Instagram, and this is my review. I enjoyed it. I really liked Brightburn. And a little bit about why I liked it and where I'm coming from, in the sense that I do have some serious superhero fatigue. Meaning that as much as I am a comic book nerd and I really look forward to all of these heroes on the big screen, I also am an animation fan. The Avengers long line, which I did like how it ended it. I had my complaints with it, but it was a long journey, seeing what happened with DC. And my point is, I have a little bit of superhero fatigue between the shows and everything else. And now we're with Stranger Things and we're getting into that sci-fi. I did and was very curious about where this was headed, and the part that this is a horror movie, and it's not a sci-fi horror, it's a straight horror movie, and it is depicted decently in the trailers as being that. This movie's meant to be scary. It's meant to be horror-based first, and superhero-based, way down the road. It's meant to be a scary movie. It is basically Superman. The alien crash landing, parents finding him, adopting him, raising him as his own. That is the outline of the story. And instead of becoming Clark Kent and becoming Superman, it focuses on that childhood. It is in the present day. It doesn't go back and forth. It doesn't go into the future. It is in the moment. This film does not jump around. It is pretty straightforward. And that's pretty much how I'll describe this film. Straightforward, basic, but good. At least I thought it was good. So back to what we were saying about being a horror movie. If you want to take kids to see this, please don't. It is very, very violent. Think about it again in terms of, and I don't mean like John Wick violent, where there's a lot of headshots and blood. It's violent. I mean, this is where you realize, damn, this is a horror movie. And I sat in the theater kind of forgetting it was a horror movie. I was like, wow, that's violent. That's a pretty violent movie. And I'm not squeamish, but I was, damn, that's a violent movie. This is a violent movie. Again, but not violent in comparison to horror movies. That's the genre that it's in, with a superhero twist. He clearly breaks bad. That is a whole plot and how it's handled. And what if somebody this powerful with Superman's abilities basically breaks bad? And I think that is a fascinating plot. Where I will have a complaint about it, and this isn't a spoiler, it's the transition. It's the writing. It is the believability of maybe the anguish that you would have with a child turning into a complete superhero villain. I should say supervillain. So that where we'll talk about the cast a little bit is you're not going to really recognize, or you shouldn't, I don't think you're going to recognize a lot of people. The main mom, I don't have a cast list in front of me. These are going to be pretty off the shooting from the hip. I don't know anybody in the cast. I do recognize the dude from Breaking Bad. Jesse's buddy's in there somewhere. That said, it's not a funny movie. So real quick before I go back into the cast, my favorite part about it is it didn't get bogged down in this overall comedy trope that we're using in almost every genre now. Even the scariest movies have to have this comedy element. This is a little bit more of a throwback. There are really very few silly moments. It's not, I mean, not saying it's supposed to be compared to superhero movies, but a lot of horror now has a lot of funny moments that are kind of thrown in there or shoehorned in there. I know that's what sells now. Is I'm just not a huge fan of it. This movie does not have that. Remember, keep in mind, horror movie, scary moments meant to be scary. Did I find it scary? No, I didn't find it scary, but it's meant to be that way. You might find it scary. There are some jump scenes in it. It is, again, very, very violent. The kid is very good. Creepy as hell, without a doubt. He is creepy. He did a great job. The cast itself, again, relatively unknown. Nobody is particularly good in it. It's not a stellar cast in regards to their acting ability. The writing is, again, very basic in terms of showing emotion. His transition, I thought, could have been a little bit deeper. But then again, you know, in a film like this, where are we going to go? If the writing gets too deep, you know, they got to kind of stay on task. They're not going to be jumping years ahead or years back. So I thought it was handled well, perfectly serviceable in terms of the cast. And the believability of their performance was all right. I mean, they weren't bad, but it wasn't, you know what I mean? It wasn't conveyed in that way where they took my breath away, you know, but again, it's a horror movie. Very good. The effects, the portrayal of his powers reminded me a lot of the movie Chronicle. If you guys that saw Chronicle, kind of telekinesis in a couple ways. It was kind of that blur, you know, punch, that realistic, where if you were watching it, not with a shaky cam, but that realistic, oh my God, you know, this is happening. So it's not the most polished film in terms of, you know, explosions, and it's not meant to be. It's meant to be, oh my God, I can't believe this is really happening, and is this kid real? So it has that Chronicle ability, like that film Chronicle, where things look kind of realistic. They're almost out of place because there's that that field of, you know, that depth perception where things look a little blurry. So it's not meant to be super shiny. I didn't see a forced grain structure in the film at all. It was a good looking movie. Again, just very basic. The sound effects had punch. It wasn't huge in terms of that. It's not a big budget film that way, but definitely worth seeing in your BTX or your IMAX. I don't think it's a movie you have to see in the theater. I think you can see it at home with our big TVs and everything else. I do apologize using this camera. It's just me down here, guys, and you're going to get this J.J. Abrams blooming that isn't there, so I apologize for that. Very good movie. I enjoyed it. Definitely a thriller. Definitely liked this kid as the actor. I liked where it went. It was a horror movie, not scary per se, but very, very well done. It is very open-ended. It doesn't jump way ahead. It focuses on this specific time. I can't say much more without giving a lot of it away. What I didn't like about it was what I just said. The performances were okay. Writing was all right. Again, the actors were limited. I don't know if they were limited in their writing, but they're definitely limited in their ability in terms of, again, relative unknowns, which I'm okay with. I thought he was very good. And just the concept alone is worth seeing. The action, like I said, is there, but I couldn't call it an action film because think about it, what I said earlier, it is a horror film. So it has as much action as the most action-filled horror movies go. Horror film first, definitely worth seeing. Brightburn, check it out. I thought it was very good. It's not going to be for everyone. I said earlier about bringing your children. That is up to you. It's violent. So maybe your teenagers might want to check it out. They see horror movies anyway, but your younger kids, even your tough kids, are like, I want to see it, Dad or Mom. It's violent. It's very violent. There's some really violent moments. Not cringeworthy, hostile, Saw stuff, but pretty close. But excellent film. I enjoyed it. It's not going to win any Academy Awards. It doesn't claim to be that. It is a straightforward horror movie with some superhero elements. It's not the other way around. It's not a superhero film. It's not a sci-fi film. And there's very little in terms of plot, I should say that, more than the writing. There's very little why. So when I say this film is in the moment, this film takes place at a certain period of time. That's probably the part that left me a little bit empty, was the why, the motivation, the reasoning, and I do believe it's an original IP. I'm not sure if it's based on a comic or anything, but there's very little in terms of motivation and why and what's happening with him. What makes him turn this way? What's behind that? I mean, he is an alien, very similar to Clark Kent and Superman. But if you're a fan of these types of films, which is a weird genre because this is a horror movie, it's worth seeing. I would check it out. I would see it in the theater just because I thought it was very good. I love to support seeing movies in the theater. I am a big theater fan, but I don't think it's a must to see in the theater. I think you can enjoy this at home on your display, but the sound effects do have that punch that are worth seeing in a BTX or an IMAX. So that's it. Brightburn, check it out. Horror movie first. Gross. Don't bring the kids. I'm Brian from Whisper Status 74, and again, thank you so much. I will see Godzilla this weekend, King of the Monsters, and I'll have a review on that one. Probably the night that it comes out. I'm seeing it Saturday. It is now Thursday. I'm seeing it at midnight with some friends. Maybe I'll do it when I get home. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Brightburn, check it out. I thought it was awesome. Thank you for all of your support and all your great comments. And I'll talk to you soon. Take care.